So essentially what we're teaching is the carbon cycle, and we're breaking it down really simply and saying that animals produce carbon dioxide. They do that through respiration. They also do that, as humans, we do that through our activities, what we do, burning, cooking, things like that. And so you have two teams. You have a team that are animals, you have a team that are plants. And the plants, their basic premise is to take CO2 from the atmosphere and bring it into their side. And so their side is a circle you can make in the dirt. We use a bicycle tire. And so what they'll do is they'll run over to the atmosphere, which is a circle with a bunch of sticks in it or poker chips or something to designate units of carbon dioxide. And they'll run across, grab some of that carbon dioxide and bring it back into their bodies, to the plants. Now the animal team, what they need to do is since they're producing the CO2 into the atmosphere, they are running to the side of where the plants are. They're taking a piece of bark or of a poker chip or a stick that represents CO2, and they're bringing that back to their side into the atmosphere. So animals take CO2 from plants, bring it into the atmosphere. Plants take CO2 from the atmosphere, bring it back into the plants. So essentially in the first round, students will quickly find out that it is impossible for either side to get ahead, that there's a balance, that every time, because it's a relay race, you have a line of students, and each time one person goes and a plant takes a molecule of CO2 out of the atmosphere and brings it to their side, those animals will then run back, grab a molecule, bring it back to the atmosphere. So everything's in balance, and so we can talk about with the students, is this game realistic? Is this game not realistic? What are some differences? And we could say that, well, nowadays humans don't only take CO2 from plants, eat them, and then respire, putting CO2 in the air. Humans also do a lot of other activities that put CO2 into the air. So we talk about transportation, driving cars, factories, making products, producing electricity. And so those humans now, those animals, can take two CO2s from the plant side and bring that over into the atmosphere. Although the plants are the same, the plants can only take one. And we ask the students to predict, what do you think is going to happen? What's the next round going to look like? And after we play for a little while and we then count up the number of chips on each side, the students will quickly find out that yes, as they probably hypothesize, there is more CO2 going into the atmosphere, that there's less plant material, more CO2 going in the atmosphere, and we begin to see an imbalance. And then we can talk about, well, is that the only place where humans get carbon? Do we only get it from plants? And students will often say, well, no, we also get it from fossil fuels, so we can now make a third station. And in that third station, the humans can not only take one CO2 from the fossil fuels, and they can then go to the plants and they can take two CO2s from the plants. So quickly, the students will discover that the carbon cycle is out of balance, that more CO2 is going into the atmosphere than the plants can naturally take out of the atmosphere. So we're destroying that balance. And that's sort of the take-home point. And with older students, we often go through this pretty quickly, and they can assume what's going to happen next. And so the point of this game is more of an interactive explanation rather than a game. With younger students, it does become more of a game, and you can incorporate all that, running and using their energy